Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Living Well Seminars. Again, tonight, we are happy that you are here, and we're happy to see more people entering the doors. Okay, so tonight we have a wonderful treat, and I'm going to talk to you about it in just a second. Shall we go ahead and bow our heads, and we'll say a word of prayer, and then we'll go on with our seminar. Our dear Heavenly Father, I thank you that we can come together tonight to learn more about what you have taught to us, to learn how to feed ourselves, to become healthier, and to share this with others. Lord, bless us tonight, and thank you for all those that devoted so much time to putting this together so that we can eat a delicious meal. In Jesus' name, amen. So before it comes out, I'm going to show you, first of all, does anyone know let me start off with this. My name is Pam Madala, and I am the director for Living Well Seminars. I am a nurse practitioner by trade, and I'm happy to be here. So who knows what and raise your hand for this, who knows what a Buddha bowl is? Have you heard of a Buddha bowl? Yes, what's a Buddha bowl?
It's usually a bowl with different kinds of foods in it, and it's usually brown rice or rice or something you can add to it.
She says it's usually a bowl with different foods in it, and brown rice is one of those foods usually, and you can add other things to it. And you are exactly right. That's what this is. And this is a Buddha bowl. Can you see it? And there are different things in here. You're going to get to try this tonight. We have two different sauces, of which one I'm going to demonstrate. This is the cheesy sauce. We've had the cheesy sauce in the past, very, very easy to make. And if you picked up your recipe list up front, you'll see the cheese sauce right up here. Cheese sauce is really easy to make and very, very delicious. We like it. One of the ingredients that you can put in it to make it more of an orange color is a pimento. So if you like your cheese sauce to look more like macaroni and cheese, just add pimento to that. This sauce, which looks more like the usual cheese sauce that we eat, is the carrot ginger dressing, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you in just a minute. These sauces, and they're going to bring your food out in just a minute. These cheeses, not sauce, they are sauces, but these cheeses, you can drizzle them over your food, you can mix them up. I wouldn't mix them up myself, but I like things separate. But try each one and find out which one you like the best. So I'm going to show you this carrot dressing, but first I want to talk a little bit about the Buddha bowl. And one of the things we have in here, it's hard to see because it's so small, but right here we have the roasted sweet potato and chickpea healthy bowl. And that is on your recipe list as well. It's full. This Buddha bowl is full of wonderful food. We do have the sweet potato, we have the brown rice, cauliflower, broccoli florets, cabbage, carrots, chickpeas, and lots of this. Now, when you are making this Buddha dish, make sure that you follow the direction. You want to cook the rice ahead of time, and you want to preheat your oven to 425, and then you get 2 cookie sheets out, baking sheets, and you can use the aluminum foil or parchment paper, but I myself, how many of you use these nonstick oven liners, the silicone liners? I like these. I have several of them, and this is a really big one, so this will go on my large cookie sheet. but this one was $8 at Walmart. Usually they're the other ones that I have at home. I have one that's thicker and more silicone that I really like that one. But these are so nice to use because you can use them over and over and they clean up very easily, very nicely. So I just wanted to show you that and tell you that you can use these or the parchment paper or aluminum foil, whichever you like. But you put the sweet potato on one of the trays, you drizzle it with, and then the chickpeas on the other tray, other one. Drizzle it with olive oil, sprinkle in the different seasonings, and roast it for about 25 to 30 minutes. Toss it and then roast it again. You're going to add in your shredded cabbage, broccoli, shredded carrots, and then when you serve it, you're just going to put in a half cup of rice. I don't see the rice here. Maybe it didn't get put on this one, but I think we were supposed to have rice. Oh, I am blind as a bat, you guys. How come you didn't tell me? Of course we have rice. Okay, that's the rice. I'm not used to seeing it that way. So there's our rice, and you can sprinkle it with the different cheeses. So for our carrot ginger sauce, we have all our different oils here. We have our olive oil, lemon juice, a third cup of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, carrots, ginger, and what's really, really strange. Now, how many of you use ginger when you're cooking? Okay, how much ginger do you usually use? Yeah, just a little bit, right? Well, this one, can you see this? You see this? This is a lot of ginger, but you really need, it's kind of like a thumb, half of a thumb of ginger. So you just take all these things, put everything in the blender, and carrots. Now, I don't know about you, I like my carrots, and when I'm cooking carrots and I'm cooking sweet potatoes, I usually don't peel them because I like the peelings because you get all the fiber that's in there. So, but here we have our peeled carrots, we have our oil, we have our maple syrup, let's see, which is that one? We put our ginger in, we have our sesame seed oil, and something else, lemon juice. Okay. And I hear a phone going off. Okay, so then you just turn it on. And I'm going to turn it down. It takes a few minutes, but you really want to. So I'm not going to make it go all the way, but you want to just blend it until it's just really, really smooth, just like just like your cheese would be, and you'll find that it tastes really, really good that way. I did want to talk to you about the sweet potato mousse that you're going to have, and that is for your dessert. When you're finished with this, again, you have these different cheese sauces. Try them, drizzle them on all of your food to see which one you like the best, and if you like it at all. You might really love it, may not. And then you can always adjust the recipes. But on the sweet potato mousse, sweet potatoes are really, really good for us. Who knows the difference between a sweet potato and a yam? One is red and one is white. That is correct. Which one is the more healthy one for you? The darker one? Yes. It has more vitamin A in it, and it is healthier. And if you're making a dessert like our sweet potato mousse, that dessert is sweeter with the sweet potatoes instead of the yams. Now, I made the mousse at home this last week, and I just used what I had in my cabinet. It calls for coconut cream chilled, and all I had was coconut milk, so I chilled it. However, what happens when you use milk versus cheese? Oh, thank you. And here is a version. This is the sweet potato mousse. Mine was very, very smooth. This one's a little bit more chunky, but it's much prettier than mine was. Okay, what's the difference between a coconut milk and a coconut cream? Anyone know? Okay, so coconut milk is, they take the coconut, one portion coconut, one portion water, so it's really thin. With coconut cream, it is 3 portions of coconut, 1 portion water. And the coconut cream is actually, then there's a third one, then there's cream of coconut as well. The cream of coconut milk or cream is actually sweeter than the coconut cream or the coconut milk. So I think for this recipe, if I were to do it again, and I probably will because yams, sweet potatoes, are one of my favorite foods and so good for you. But I will use the cream of coconut the next time because it is sweeter. And the coconut milk just didn't give it quite the sweetness that this would need according to the recipe. The cheese sauce, like I said, we've already done before. Okay, so you are eating this, and are you trying the different cheeses on your Buddha bowl? Is that a yes or a no? Yes. So who would? Does anybody like the regular cheese sauce? Yeah, you like that cheese sauce? Yeah. Okay, you like that? Okay, good. And who likes the ginger sauce? Really like that ginger sauce. Very good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so I have a couple of minutes left, and I want to talk to you about something else unrelated to the food, but I think it's very important that we talk about this tonight. And that is next month when we have our next Living Well seminar. You know, we've got this problem going around of the, oh my goodness, I think I left it outside, so I'll have to go out and get it. Oh, here it is. We have the coronavirus that's happening. So we may not end up having a meeting next month if there are a lot of sick people and if we're being asked to reschedule this for another day. So I want to make sure that when you signed in, please make sure that I have your email addresses. If you don't have an email address, then make sure I have your cell phone so I can send you a text, or you can go online to fresnocentralsda.org or .com, and you can see if we're having our meeting, regularly scheduled meeting. We just don't want you to show up and have everything locked up. But it's very helpful to me if I have your email addresses so I can send you information that you will want to know. So I want to talk to you really quickly before we have Deborah come up. And John, Jan, can you tell Deborah she should probably start making her way this way? So the coronavirus now has a new name. It is the SARS-CoV-2. I'm going to write it down. So this is the new name for it. As of today, globally, there were 95,807 people who have been exposed to it. 80,000 are in China, and 3,285 deaths have been attributed to this. In 64 countries are involved, and let me see. In California, in the United States, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11 states, just a minute, sweet. Okay, we have 11 states that have confirmed people who have the corona SARS-CoV-2 virus. The good thing about this virus is that for those who come in contact with it and who actually have the virus, 80% of them do get well from it and they recover. Of course, then you have the other 20% that pass away. And worldwide, we have many, many countries involved, and the top 5 are China, Korea, Italy, Iran, and the cruise ship that had 706 people that were exposed and are positive for this virus. So what is this? This is a family of viruses. Is that me? Okay, I'm going to shut this off and give it to Deborah, and I'll use that one. Okay, so this is a family of viruses that are in animals and in humans. It causes upper respiratory symptoms, common colds and that kind of thing. It is spread by droplet. The thing about this droplet is it is person to person, but if, when we're speaking, it is not unusual for us to spit. And so the spit can get onto tables and onto our hands. And so the spit can last for a few days, or the virus can last for a few days on objects. So we have to make sure that we are taking care to wash things down very carefully. Some of you received this note from Dr. James Robb. He is a pathologist and a molecular biologist down at San Diego, UC San Diego. Yes? It is. It's the SARS-CoV-2. So this is what, he actually worked with the coronavirus, Dr. Robb did, in the 1970s, and he did a lot of study with this. So this is what a letter that he sent out, and I'm just going to share it with you really quickly. He says, and this is going to be really, really difficult because in the United States, we shake hands. But he says, no handshaking, but instead, just bump, right? Okay, so we want to bump our elbow, but not use our hands. No hugging. I am a hugger. I hug everybody. This is going to be really difficult for me. Use only your knuckles to touch the door handles or the light switches and wash them off. Use disinfectant wipes. Wash your hands for 10 to 20 seconds, many, many times a day. Keep a bottle of sanitizer with you at all times. Use them on the grocery carts when you're going into the stores. When you're using the gas pumps, make sure you wash it all off. If you cough, make sure that you sneeze or cough into your elbow. Use latex gloves, very important. And stock up now, he says. We need to be stocking up on this stuff before it's off the shelves. So those are the quick quickies about this. In October 1, 2019 to 2020, the regular flu illness, we had 32 million people who had regular flu, with the hospitalizations of up to 560,000, and that's from the regular flu. This SARS-CoV-2 is supposed to be even more devastating, with the deaths of the regular flu up to 46,000. And in 2017 to 18, nearly 800,000 people with the regular flu were hospitalized. So just to give you some differences between the regular flu and this flu. All right, so our next speaker is going to be Deborah Holland, and Deborah is going to talk to us tonight. You need that? Okay, she's going to talk to us tonight about how we can help ourselves with all this. Oh, and by the way, Deborah makes these masks. Now, and these are washable, and you can put liners in them as well. But she does make these masks. She made one for me. I have been wearing it at work, and it's colorful, it's pretty, and it works well. So Deborah is selling these for Living Well to help us take care of all the different costs that we have here. Okay, Deborah, you ready?
Are you on? Okay, I guess when all fails, is it on?
Not yet. It has to be on the red.
On the red. Okay, it's on the red. Check, check. Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Pam is, that plate looks great. Maybe I'll stop and eat and you guys, no. You've heard a lot of what the information she's given you concerning the different viruses and codes that are going around, especially this virus. We know that the little face mask that we have here, we know that it won't necessarily stop it, right? But something is better than nothing, just to be having your face open, because we work at Dorcas and we're dealing with a lot of homeless, we're dealing with other people. And so still, something is better than nothing. So that's why even if you make your little homemade mask, have something on, not just let people cough directly in your face. Okay, so today we're going to do several little simple recipes, and it's simple. They're just simple recipes to help you with, because I went in the store because I was going to get a sample of what they had in the Dollar Tree, the hand sanitizer, and they were gone. So, it's like the water's leaving the shelves, the hand sanitizers is leaving the shelves, so you want to get some. So I thought, well, one of the best things we could do this evening is to create a hand sanitizer. That works, and that helps you. Okay, so let's get started. We'll start on that, and then we're going to do what's called a flu shot. So right now, we're going to look at our hand sanitizer. Did I give you a recipe for that one? No, it was just okay, you can write it down if you like. So we'll get started. This is aloe vera gel. You can get this at Target's. At Target's, you can get this, okay? So we're going to use a half a cup of aloe vera gel. Now, who can tell me what aloe vera is good for? Burns, sunburns. So if it's good for those things, it's also good for your skin, right? So it's really good for keeping moisture and helping with the skin. Because in this recipe, you are going to have alcohol. And so if you're using alcohol,
What kind of alcohol?
this is just your regular, I'll show you. It's over.
I'm saying that because somebody asked me, are you using vodka?
Oh, well, let me tell you a surprise. She may not know. You can use vodka. Some people do use vodka. So, as long as you're not drinking it, but, This one is 99.9 proof. It's supposed to be 99.9, but it says 99%, right? Alcohol. So they mention you can use alcohol. They say get the strongest you can find. So that's about the strongest you're going to get, besides, of course, vodka and whatever. Or you can use bleach. Well, we certainly don't want to be using bleach all the time. So you come up with, the alcohol is the better of the worst, right? Even though the alcohol would dry the hands out some, but that's why you're adding your vitamin E. You can add vitamin E to it. You can add your aloe vera gel to help keep some moisture in that. Okay, so we have a half a cup of the aloe vera gel, and we're going to use witch hazel. Now, witch hazel is great for yes?
How much alcohol you did not mention?
Alcohol, I haven't got to that point yet. So we have the aloe vera, half a cup, and now we have witch hazel. What is witch hazel good for? Itching, right? When you're itching, witch hazel is good for soothing the itch. So it's also moisturizing. It says that for oily, irritated, red, damaged, blemish, or inflamed skin. So it will help with, since you're going to be adding alcohol to this. Okay? So witch hazel, we're adding a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to do half of this. Okay, about a 1/4 cup. Okay? And now we're going to add our alcohol. I'll add the vitamin E first. Let's add our vitamin E. And about 10 drops. Okay, can you see that? The vitamin E is good for, of course, you know it's good for skin. It helps with some moisture and from your hands being so dry from the alcohol. So we're going to stir this up. Okay, and now you can use tea tree oil, or you can use, maybe you're not a fan of tea tree. Tea tree is antifungal, antibacterial. So we can use, and that's good for this time of what we're going through, right? So let's use 20 drops. Okay, tea tree oil. We're going to stir that in. And it's starting to thick up, if you notice already. It's starting to thick up. You can add some glycerin to this to kind of thin it out a little. Now we're going to add, but the alcohol will do that as well. So now we're going to add our alcohol, 1 cup. Now you don't have to add a whole cup if you don't want. You can add a half a cup if you say, I don't want that much. But the alcohol is what's going to help with the germs. This is the main thing that's going to help with those germs. You can use vinegar, but it's not as strong as the alcohol to kill. They said either the bleach or alcohol. And as you know, when you're cleaning someone's falls, or when they bruise, the little kids, the first thing they want to do is wipe it with an alcohol swab or something, right? Because alcohol is good for cleansing and all of that, keeping out the bacteria. Okay, so now we have all this done. So it's a thick gel. You can either blend this down if you want, and it'll make it more of a creamier, or you just pour it through your spout and pour it into your container. So have you some little containers where you can keep them in your purse or whatever, and just pour it through. I thought I had my spout here. But anyway, this is the first recipe, and this is your hand sanitizer, okay? Now, real quick, where's my water? Okay, we're going to do, now you have the spores in the air as well, right? So let's take care of that real quick. We're going to add, you can use distilled water. This is about a 4-ounce container. You can use the size you want. We're going to add the distilled water. Okay, we're going to bring it almost up to the top, but we're going to leave some room. Now we're going to add alcohol to this. We're going to bring it all the way up to the top using alcohol. Now this is for a spray mist for the air. You have distilled water and you have the alcohol. Now this is not, if you spray this on you, it's okay. It's not going to kill you. So you can do that if you like. But this essential oil is called Natural Shield. It is the same type of essential oil as like a Safeguard. It's one of the best you can get for, you're talking about viral, air virus, you know. So it kind of like puts a barrier. If you're going flying on a plane or you're around a lot of people, this is what you want to kind of spray. Don't spray them, but spray your surroundings where you are. Especially if you know someone's coughing a lot, so you put that in now. We're going to use 40 drops. Now this oil is almost 20 bucks. It's $19. So it's not cheap, but it have all the different things you need. The blend that this is a blend oil.
What was the name of it? I missed
It's called Nature's Shield.
Nature's what?
You can Shield, S-H-I-E-L-D. You can get it at Sprouts. I don't know if Whole Foods carry it. But I was like, ooh, I'm glad I caught the sale, because 19 bucks. 40 drops. You can use 20, 40, whatever you like. It's pretty strong. I wouldn't use this. You know, normally for a spray, you can use 40 or 25, either one. We're not going to go to 40. We're going to break it off too. Because for $19, it's like you're going to have to extend this baby. Okay, now you put your lid on. And you're just going to shake it up. And when you put in, you're mixing oil with water, so you're going to have to shake it, shake it, shake it. And every time when you use it, keep shaking it so you can get those oils stirred in. But because you put alcohol in it, it helps those oils to work on the end. So now, then you just spray your air, okay? There's your mist. Okay, now we'll put this aside, and we're going to do your flu shot. Now, some people can have the flu shot. I'm one of those that have reaction to the flu shot. So you can create your own type of flu shot. And that's what we're going to do now. I'm trying to move fast so I won't take up our next speaker's time. So I'm moving pretty fast. Okay. All right, the next, you have the recipe, though, for the flu shot. Okay. The purpose of the flu shot, it says here, that, of course, you know, it says that most flu shots, you know, they have all kinds of different things in them. And I'm not bad-mouthing the flu shots, because, I mean, if some people, that's people's choice. But I can't have it, so I want to create something I can have, and something I can take 2 or 3 times a day, and I don't have to worry about side effects and all of that, right? So let's get that going. So here we have the it's called a flu shot. That's what it's called. And the first ingredients we're going to use is garlic. Now, who can tell me about how good garlic is for you? It is very good, especially, you know what, the other day I was feeling just a little something in my throat, and I thought, oh no, I'm fixing to get on that real quick. So I took one clove of garlic, one of the little buds, and I just chewed it up. It was burning. It was like, oh. But guess what? By evening, I was feeling great. So praise the Lord, you know. So use the herbs. The Lord says the herbs are for the healing of the nations. He's blessed these herbs for a reason. So we need to use them. The garlic will help you if you have a flu, or it'll help you to get over it quickly. Man, this is a strong bag. Can't even open it. All right, here we go. Okay, we have lemon juice, we have pineapple juice. So I'm going to just blend this down a little before I add all the other juices, just to get all that blended. And then we have our fresh ginger. If you don't have fresh ginger, you could use ginger powder, right? So we're going to add our ginger, and we're going to try to blend this down a little bit. There's some noise, hold on. Okay. We just got all of that blended up so we can make sure we get the chunks out. Now we're going to add our lemon juice. So you have your recipe there. And so now we have our 3 cups of pineapple juice. We're going to go in and add that. Get all of that good stuff out of there. Okay. And we have honey. Let's see if I have another spoon. Okay. The honey is good because honey will help if you have a lot of congestion going on. The honey is going to help to lift some of that congestion. Where it feel like it's just stuck in there, it doesn't want to go anywhere. It will help. And the cayenne brings the blood back to the surface. So when you have a cold and you're feeling so, like you're just tired and exhausted, that cayenne is going to help perk you up and help the blood get moving, right? You have turmeric. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory, right? So we're going to add our turmeric. And now we're going to blend because my time is almost up. Okay, we have a guest here that it's my first time meeting tonight. Could you come up, Mrs. Spain? I want you to try this and tell us how it tastes. Come up, Miss Spain. Come on. Okay. And can I have one more? Someone else, who else would like to try? One other person would like to come up real quick and try it. Okay, come. Who was that? Come, and then let's get one of the group here. One of you guys can come. Yeah. Okay, just, there you go. Yes, and tell us what it tastes like to you. Okay, have one of them. Have one of them to come. Someone from here, one of you guys come.
I agree.
What did you say about it?
It's good.
It's really
Yes.
much more pleasant than I expected.
Oh, good, good. You can make it. You can add a little more cayenne if you want, and make it a little more like a punch. But it's and the thing is, you take it 3 times a day or 4 times a day, but you will start feeling much better. It will really help you. Okay, so my time is up, but thank you so much, and go home and make that. It will help you get your rest. That's very important. Water, rest, and get some sunshine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah. Would you like that? Thank you.
Oh, actually, we have some afterwards. Someone want to we're going to have some for sale for
Okay,
people
so
who
we're
want to
going
make
to
a
have,
donation.
Deborah's going to sell a few after we're finished tonight. So if you're interested in purchasing any, Deborah makes all of these different products and sells them for Living Well. All the monies come back to Living Well to help pay for our services here. And
Oh, let me go give her the mic. Yeah.
so how many of you received the Living Well flyer via email? How many of you, when you received the flyer by email, saw the Living Well email address? On the flyer is a Living Well email address, and I will write it on here so that you can actually look and look for that. And when you are preparing to come, please email us at that address, or call the church, or email the church, or email me, or you can email the church, call the church, email Living Well, send a text to me, email me, whichever way you would like. It helps us to know how many people we need to prepare for, because we prepared for a bit less and fewer tonight, and we had many more show up, and we're thrilled that you are here. But please help us and let us know when you are planning to join us, so that we can make sure that there is enough food for everyone. We want you to be able to enjoy this food. We have Helen is just walking in the kitchen. There you go. We have all of our staff from the kitchen. Can you say thank you for our kitchen staff? They're over here in the corner. They work very hard. They come in usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays and are here most all of the day to get ready for tonight. I have the easier part. I just have to talk. They do all the cooking, so we want to thank them. Tonight, our speaker is Rosie Critser. Rosie is a social worker. Rosie, come on up. And thank you. Let's greet Rosie. Let's see. Let's make sure Rosie is on.
Don't clap, that makes me nervous.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. All right. And Rosie, so tell us what you do.
I'm a social worker for Fresno County for the last 22 years, and I work for the In-Home Supportive Services program.
What does that mean?
Well, that's what I'm going to tell you what it means. I go to the homes and I assess people to see how many hours they need to stay home independently. I'd like to give you a little history about in-home supportive services, then I'll tell you what little details and how you qualify. And if we have time, I would like to also speak about adult protective services and the different kinds of abuses there are. In the 1950s, there still is a hospital down in Downey called Rancho Los Amigos. It's a wonderful place. And they had a lot of people post-polio and also with respiratory problems. And they wanted to experiment, well, everybody wants to live in their own home. And the government doesn't do this program to make you happy, it does to save money. So one of the things they wanted to do was to see if they could put these people out in the community and save the money, because hospitalizations, convalescent homes are very expensive. So they took 100 people and put them out in the community, and the March of Dimes helped for them to pay for an attendant to come into their home and help them so they could remain at home. And they would, but it was very limited. They would give them like $300 a month for them to pay for their attendant. So then it became part of the social service system instead of the medical system. And in the 60s, it became in-home supported services. And the program keeps evolving. In the last 23 years, it has, what I do kind of changes. But basically, what it is I go into the home and I ask them all kinds of questions in the different areas. There's the domestic area, which includes house cleaning, cooking, laundry, grocery shopping. And there's the personal care area, which includes dressing, bathing, walking, getting in and out of bed, toileting. And when I first started, what really surprised me is the kind of people and their needs, and they still were able to remain at home. I never knew that, 20 years ago you could have home dialysis. And with the help, you see some pretty sick people that would otherwise be in convalescent homes that remain at home. So the process is you have to have Medi-Cal to be in the program. Now, I'm not a Medi-Cal worker, but basically to be Medi-Cal, you got to be poor. Usually your income is $900 to $1,000. Some of them can make more. There's different rules. And if you make more, it doesn't mean that you don't qualify for Medi-Cal. It may mean that you may have a share cost. That means that every month you pay $100, $200, and then the Medi-Cal will pick up the rest. It's a Medi-Cal dependent program, so you have to Medi-Cal. Now, when I started 23 years ago, it was mainly elderly people. They have kind of moved now that we have a lot of children because the regulations have changed, and we have so many autistic children now, so the children can also qualify for the program. So you can make a phone call, and we take an application over the phone. This year we started also, it's brand new, you can make an application online. And then you are sent a medical form, and your doctor has to certify that, yes, you do need this program for you to maintain and be able to stay in your own home. When the doctor, we get that back, then a social worker like me will go out there. And the way we assess the people is basically we ask what they can and cannot do. If you can you, as far as house cleaning, can you sweep? No. Why not? Because I can't stand up. I have poor balance, or my hands shake because I have diabetes. And we go through each area of domestic chores and personal care. And the state allows an X amount of time for somebody to come and be your provider, we call them, to take care of you. Now, the person that receives the services gets to choose whoever they want to work for them. They are required to fingerprint, and you cannot be one if you have had a felony of adult abuse or child abuse. Otherwise, if you have drugs and other kinds of felonies or other kinds of problems, you can still be a provider. And there's also waivers that you can be, because a lot of the grandma wants their grandson that has long history of drug abuse, they can still hire them. So then we rank them from 1 to 5. 1 is they can do things independently. 5, they need a lot of help, say to bathe. Can you get in and out of the tub? Do you need somebody to adjust the water? Do you need somebody to wash your hair? Can you raise your arms so they can help you? And that's how we get a ranking of 1 to 5. And within those rankings, there's a low, medium, high that the state allows time. Now, the state is not very generous. They allow 6 hours a month for house cleaning. And that depends on how many people there are in the home. The more people there, the less hours you get, because the mentality is that you would have to clean the house whether that person was there or not. So you only get 1% of that time. The cooking, you allow 1 hour a day, also divided by how many people, and half an hour to clean your kitchen and wash dishes. Laundry is usually an hour a week, and grocery shopping and errands is an hour and a half a week. Now, personal care, of course, can't be prorated by how many people in the home. It's your personal care, and so they allow, that's where the ranking come in and how many hours. We can go anywhere. Somebody got on the program because the judge said so he needed it, was 4 hours a month. And the maximum is 283 hours a month, which comes out to 9.5 to 10 hours a day. Now, one portion of this program is also what we call protective supervision, because we used to be called time per task. What do you do? How long does it take? And that's the time we give you. Now, they don't no longer want us to be time per task. It's all about the rankings. There is one portion of it that's called protective supervision. If your grandpa has Alzheimer's and he wanders away, he needs to be watched 24/7. Now, we never pay 24/7. The maximum is 283, but we have to have a plan. Who's going to watch him, when, and where? And then you allow it's called protective supervision. Children are a little bit different in that we are comparing the child to a normal child and what he can and cannot do at certain ages. And we only allow that time for what your child cannot do. So if you have a 7-year-old that's not toilet trained, we're going to allow time for toileting, but we're not going to allow time for bathing him, because according to the state, you got to be 8 years old before you learn to bathe yourself. So, and that's kind of renewed, like Medical is renewed every year. We are go to the home once a year to renew their applications also. Does anybody have any questions so far?
You
have to go through all the hoops for the state and fill out a bunch of papers on all the stuff going on, right?
To Medi-Cal, if you ever, I don't know if you've ever seen a Medi-Cal application, it's a booklet. It looks like a booklet, and I don't know. Once I saw, I said, now I know why people go postal on them. But it's not as, it's a lot of, it looks like really big, but it can, it's not as daunting as it is, because a lot of things don't pertain to you. The Medi-Cal, you can own a house and you can own one car. And it's around $900 for one person, about $1,500 income for two people, and then you qualify for Medi-Cal. And like I said, if you make more than that, then you may have a share cost every month before you can get the service. But if you have a share cost with IHSS, then you don't have a share cost with your medicines. The state can't come back after you're dead and try to recuperate some of their money from your house if you do own a house, unless you put that house, somebody else's name 3 years before you die. And you can have $3,000 in the bank per couple and $2,000 in the bank per person. Oh, good question. We keep a list of people who've gone through it's really not a training, it's a class. Oh, okay. She asked, what if you don't have anybody, like a family member or a friend that can take care of you, what do you do? IHSS has a separate department, public authority, and they keep a list of people who are looking for work, and they have to call in the first of every other Wednesday saying, yeah, I'm still looking, so they can keep their list current. They've gone through I think it's 3 or 4 hours, it's how to fill out the timesheet, and what we pay for, what's considered fraud, what isn't fraud, and fingerprint it, and they're ready to work for those people. No, you just call in. I think it's once a month you have to call in. Yeah. So that you keep saying, they pay $13 an hour. If you live with the person, you don't have to pay any, this is since last year, you don't have to pay any federal or state taxes on that income.
I'm 80 years old. I go to RICV. I don't know if you know about it. We were administered by a new place. We have the open hospital. And most of the questions that I have is because I got disability when I went to Social Security. I lost my disability of Part B. And I have to pay me 10% penalty for that. And I think that's what I don't have. And I don't have the primary doctor. So I really have a problem. I'm getting old, and I get most of my patients from RICV. So I wonder if you have ICAP. I think they send me over there. You have another program you can have up to $10,000 so you can still get Part B. So one thing you said if we turn our home to our heirs or something, that was interesting to me. So that's probably what I have to do. So I live in my home. They are supposed to do some remodeling as I get older. So I don't have other resources to help me to do them. So do you know any that you can refer me to?
I'm not sure what your question is, and I don't hear well.
Yeah,
Okay.
normally they have microphone. So I don't have problem with speaking louder. I need help at home because I'm getting older.
Okay, okay. You need help at home?
No, actually, I know about the high cap. I lost my Part B, so, and I have a little bit more than 10,000, so I don't qualify and have to pay 10% penalty. But as I get older, I need some changes at home, so I can stay at home. I need some changes, but I don't have the resources
Well, the regulations is you can't have more than 2,000 in the bank per person and 3,000 per couple. Otherwise, you don't qualify for Medi-Cal. Well, high cap is basically to help you find the best insurance. Sometimes what happens is you make, say, $1,050, so you are above the limit, so they're gonna charge you $300 for your Medi-Cal. Well, if you buy a supplemental medical, even you don't need it because you already have Medicare and Medi-Cal, but you buy that supplemental, and that brings your income low enough so you qualify for Medi-Cal, and it's rather than paying $300, you're paying $50 a month. So that's what high cap does.
Yeah, that's the problem I have, and I need glasses, need a dent check.
Okay, well, if maybe we can talk in the end about your particular problem. Does anybody have any questions about IHSS? Did I make any sense at all?
I have a question.
Okay.
My mom was recently given some hours, but now she's going to be having knee surgery, so
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, what do I do?
Okay, you call your worker, the IHSS worker? Oh, I'm sorry. The question was somebody who just got into the program, but they're going to have knee surgery. What do you do? Because your hours were based on when they saw you, but the physical and medical situation has changed. You can, after the surgery, you can call your social worker and ask for a reassessment. Right now, we're running over 6 months behind. We get like 1,000, I think. We're 1,000 applications almost a month. We only have about 100 workers, and they tell us they're not going to hire new workers. So, yeah, we're supposed to see once a year, but I'm still seeing some people that haven't been seen, they weren't seen last year. And this is the first time ever, because it never has been like that before. But when I started, we had 12,000 clients, and since they were elderly, we kept getting new ones, but the older ones died also. So it remained about 12,000 for over 10 years. But in the last 10 years, it's jumped up to 21,000 because of all the children that we get from Central Valley Regional Center. So some of the things that people do at home also, besides they call them paramedical services, anything that's invasive, and the state has a sense of humor because they consider putting eye drops in your eyes invasive. They consider putting a medicated cream on your parts, but also includes checking blood sugar, giving injections, doing home dialysis, tube feeding, suctioning. You know, some people are on ventilators, so they include all of those services. Now, for the state, they don't want the responsibility of anything going wrong, so they have a separate form, because we love forms. We love to kill trees. They have a separate form that your doctor has to sign and say, yes, that person knows what they're doing. They can do the home dialysis. They can do the checking of the blood sugar, the ventilator, or the suctioning, and that kind of thing. Anybody else has any other question?
There's some people need jobs for places like that. Is it hard to get a job typically, or do you find who needs you?
Like I said, they do keep a list of people that want to work, and the pay is $13 an hour.
Yeah, because the guy that's here, he's looking for a job like that.
Yeah, he has to call over there, and they'll send him a packet to fill out, and they'll set him up with the training, a day for the training, and he'll get fingerprinted, and then they'll try to match him up with somebody. A lot of the people that come in already have family members, friends, and they already have somebody who you know, they have in mind that's going to take care of them. But we do get some that do need workers.
And they don't discriminate if you have any kind of disabilities.
They don't what?
If you have some kind of disabilities or anything, they won't discriminate against you because of that?
Well, discrimination is illegal, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Well, because the county is not the employer of record on all these providers. It's a separate entity, and technically whoever's the client who needs the provider are the ones that hire and fire their providers. And there's some that go through them very quickly because they're not easy to get along with. So they change a lot. You had a question?
Is there a website that we can Google and get information like you just gave us or not?
There is IHSS. It's kind of complicated, but you should be able to get it. And also Public Authority, if you're looking for a job, the Public Authority or PARC, PARCC also has a website. Then they have all that information. I can give you my number also, so if anybody's interested.
PARRC?
Yeah, PARC is, but under IHSS you should find, they have the information. If nobody has any other questions, I also wanted to go over kind of quickly. I did work for a little bit at Adult Protective Services and just kind of go over the different kinds of abuses there are for the elderly. Now, for Adult Protective Services, you have to be a dependent adult. A dependent adult is anybody over 18 who is disabled and he's receiving Social Security, SSI, Supplemental Security Income, or over 65. If you're not a dependent adult, they will not go out there. They will also not go out there if you're in a facility, because they have what they call ombudsmen that are supposed to investigate any kind of abuse in facilities. So, elder abuse, there's 7 types of abuses. There's physical abuse, and we know the hitting, the pinching, cigarettes, all kinds of things. Amazing what people do to other people. Believe it or not, there's also sexual abuse in the elderly, psychological abuse, neglect, abandonment and isolation, financial and fiduciary abuse, and self-neglect. Physical abuse can be torture, battery, assault, shoving, slapping, pinching, burning, kicking, using chemical restraints, or corporal punishment. And some of the indicators that you would see on these would be like black eyes, welts, lacerations. Sometimes also it's kind of hard to know because elderly people bruise real easily. But there are certain places that you tend to look for that people, if you got a black eye, you could have fallen down, hit your nose, got a black eye. You got marks right here, you're probably not. That's probably physical abuse because you usually don't, no way to get the marks over there. It could be sprains, dislocation, broken eyeglasses or frames, medication overdose, or somebody just says, an elderly person states, that person was hitting me. Or somebody's very depressed, that could be it could be a symbol or that somebody is being abused. Sexual abuse can include rape, sodomy, incest, sexual assault, sexual battery, inappropriately coercing another person. And there you would see the bruises in the sexual area that you'd be most likely by a doctor, found by a doctor, but you could also see bloody underwear, missing undergarments, an elder becoming very isolated. Any kind of big changes, it might be that somebody who was pretty social now becomes isolated. That could be something that you would look at that maybe they were being abused. Psychological insult, abuse can mean insults, intimidation, threats, harassment, isolation, verbal assaults, and humiliation. And the person could be emotionally agitated, extremely withdrawn, non-communicative, or non-responsive. And some of the behaviors may look like dementia, but they're not. They would be maybe rocking themselves and they're sucking their thumbs. Or somebody just says, they abuse me. And neglect is another form of abuse, and basically you're just not providing the things that person needs. It could be health care, food, nutrition, hydration, failure to assist with their daily living things, to clean soiled clothing, and just monitor the needs of the elderly. And those are the indications. Could be dehydration, malnutrition, untreated bed sores, poor personal hygiene, hazardous or unsafe living conditions, unsanitary or unclean living conditions. You go, and sometimes it's hard because some of it is lifestyle choices. They live in with the cockroaches. It doesn't bother them at all. When you go there, you don't want to sit down, but there's some of them are just not taking care of them. Rashes in private parts, low food intake. The other one is abandonment. Somebody I've had enough, I'm going to Vegas, and they leave that person alone that cannot be left alone. Or they leave them at the supermarket or the mall, or nursing facility. Financial abuse is kind of I think one of the new one, and that it's kind of hard to investigate, but the banks have been really good about it when the banks see something. And the difference between Adult Protective Services and IHSS is Adult Protective Services can be any socioeconomic level. We have some very rich. One of my friends says he was just at Toll House, and the wife had been probably scammed out of $250,000, but she didn't qualify because she was 64, but the husband was 65, so they were going to investigate that. So the bank, the Adult Protective Services get the banks calling, people. Or that could be cashing checks, because even with the IHSS, the providers gets their way in there, they start cashing checks, they start taking money out of the ATM, their forged signature, they change accounts, address. So when the bank starts seeing some of these things, they start to give me a call. And self-neglect is also a form of abuse, and the people just forget, they get depressed, they don't bathe, they don't take their medication. I had a running joke with my supervisor, because we both have worked Adult Protective Services, when my hair, I hadn't gotten it cut or the roots were showing, and I said, is it time for me to refer myself as a self-neglect case to Adult Protective Services? And some of the signs are dehydration, untreated medical condition, and poor hygiene, unsanitary or clean living quarters. Unfortunately, the Adult Protective Services, just like IHSS, is you can choose to be or not be part of it. So if an Adult Protective Services knocks on my door and I close it, they attempt 2 or 3 times. Unless it's a crime, they can go back with the cop, but otherwise they don't really investigate, because it's a voluntary services, just like Adult IHSS.
So my nephew's a veteran, and he has mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
and it's severe to the extent that he, suffers, and basically he had body lice at one point, and I had taken him in. He was homeless, he was doing illegal things, and I want to help him, but
Yeah.
he's not willing to receive the help.
Yeah, and unless it's life-threatening, you know, authorities, the police don't get involved with it either, because there again, we are adults and we can get to make bad decisions here. That's why one of the psychologists says we need the statute of responsibility in the West Coast to balance the Statue of Liberty in the East Coast. Any other questions? You know, I was going to bring them and I forgot, but my number is there, so if you have any questions, can give me a call. That's my work phone number. Huh? I go to this church, yeah. Uh-huh. I've seen you. Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have learned something.
Thank you, Rosie. What we try to do at Living Well is not just give you information about our bodies and health that way, but also what different people do that we all need services for. And so, Rosie, we thank you for your work
No,
and
6
what
hours
you
is how
do.
much time we allow for house cleaning.
Let me turn her
Were you
her
talking
off.
about the benefits of Medi-Cal or?
This is IHSS.
You're on. That's okay. Okay, all right. So again, Rosie, we thank you for your service for our county and for all the patients that you serve. Okay, are you ready for our giveaways tonight? We have Deborah. Deborah is bringing out some items, and we really want to have those up here. We have some dishes that we have some dishes that you have your choice of taking the meal. We don't have lids for the cheeses, so you have to be really careful with them, not to spill them when you take them home. And then we have dessert cups as well. And Danielle is putting those all together. Let's see. Mary, can you go let Deborah know that we are getting ready for our raffle? Thank you. So I have a question for each of you. What kind of seminars would you like to hear about in the future? Anyone have anything in particular? I mean, we talked about social services. We've talked about, tell me what some of the other things we've talked about this year. High cholesterol, we wanted to hear more about high cholesterol. We are talking with someone who will possibly come in and talk about prostate issues for our gentleman. Anybody else? We talked about meal planning, yes? Mm-hmm. The teeth guy, the dentist. Yeah, he talked about water. And Gary Larson, he talked about water, and he talked about other stuff in our teeth. Anyway, so if you think of the mercury, if you think of anything else that you would like to have a program on, you can email us at livingwell@fresnocentralsda.com. You can email us at our fresnocentralsda.org and/or.com. You can text me. You can call the office here. There's lots of ways to get in touch with us, and we would love to hear from you. Please make sure when you leave tonight that I have a way to contact you, because if we cannot meet next month for some odd reason, I need to be able to contact you. Please make sure that I have your email address. That's the best for me, and that way I can email you. and or your cell number so that we can call you. Okay, Deborah, so this is Deborah D's Super Tonic Flu Buster. Wow, that's a lot of flu buster.
This is different than the one flu shot. This will kick your boots off, but you will get over this flu. I mean, most people have tried this. It kicks it quick in a day or so. But
How do you take this one? This one, these are for us tonight.
donation. No, this one's a donation.
This one's,
Take for whoever gets a raffle.
oh, this one's donation? Okay, how much is this? Oh, no, $5.
Oh, $5, okay.
Okay. And this is Deborah's hand sanitizer. Oh, I need to buy some from you. Okay? And this one,
Spray mist for the air.
this is a spray mist for the air, right? Okay.
And this is what we made tonight.
And this is what the flu shot that she made tonight. This is different than the dessert, okay? I want to make sure that you see the difference there. Oh, and then we have the mask. Where did the mask go? I don't know where it went. He can shut it off. Okay. We do have a mask that we're giving tonight, and